I'm delighted to be with Philip Shaw from Cleverclicks. Hello, Philip.
Good day, Robert.
Thanks for coming to the studio.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. Now look, we're going to have a little talk about getting more leads from your website. So this I know is one of the areas that you focus on. So as a small business, we've got our website. How do we get more leads from it?
Many ways. And I'll touch on a couple of tips I think that are really important. I've summarized them as the 5 C's, which I think are really important to get right in the beginning.
Okay.
The first one is having a content management system. So that sounds fancy speak, but it enables you to really make quick changes to your website.
Okay, so a content management system that then allows us as the website owner to do anything we want to do.
That's right. So it's sometimes called a CMS.
Yeah.
You may have heard of WordPress.
Yeah.
It's a very popular one,
Yeah.
very search engine friendly. Great tool to help business owners constantly add new content to their website, which is really important. Builds credibility with your audience, and you don't have to pay $150 an hour to a web developer.
So have a content management system is your first point.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Next.
The second C is content. So that's actually adding, and now that you have the content management system, is constantly adding new content to your website.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so that really builds credibility, especially if you're a service-based business. You know, adding articles, blog post entries, interviews, white papers, all that sort of stuff you should be doing on a constant basis.
When you say constant, do you mean daily, weekly?
Not necessarily daily, no.
Okay.
The more often the better. I would be looking at, trying to blog weekly. But if you can blog daily, that's great. It just becomes, you've got a lot more important things to do, so it becomes quite challenging.
And the point about having regular sort of updated content is good for what reason? Yes, your clients can see, your customers can see that you're doing things. Any other reasons?
There's two big reasons. One is to prove your skills, especially if you're a service-based business.
Yeah.
So anybody can hire a good copywriter and put up, this is our service.
Yeah.
But if you're adding constant content to your website, new entries, commentary on latest events, industry reviews, anything like that, you're really proving your skills.
Okay.
So it adds a lot of credibility, so they have a lot more faith in you and are more likely to make an inquiry.
Okay, fantastic. That was C number 2?
That was the first reason around the content. The second one is for search engines. So Google likes quality content.
Yep.
So if you add this new content, Google sees that you're adding content all the time, and your rankings actually start rising. And it also naturally helps with the incoming links as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a no-brainer. It can take time, but you need to get your head around it.
And I guess the thing with content as well is that we don't have to do it all ourselves, do we? We can comment on other people's content. You can, with permissions, you don't have to necessarily generate everything yourself. You don't have to write everything yourself.
Absolutely, you can have guest posts on your website. So I'm talking about, this is about creating content on your website, and absolutely you can have third parties, other people add content to your site for sure.
Okay,
that
great.
works.
Okay, third C.
The third C is around capturing an email address. So that's one of the fundamental rules of online marketing is capturing someone's address, an email address. So that could be for a newsletter. It could be a special report you have relating to your industry. So build up that database of email email addresses, and then you can market to them and build trust over time. Okay. It's a really fundamental principle of online marketing, and it works really well.
Right, and it's interesting because there's lots of discussion about email is being overtaken by other forms of communication, but that's really where a lot of the value still lies, doesn't it? In actually having
absolutely. I mean, it still works. It all comes down to the quality emails that you send out.
Yeah.
So depending on the quality you produce will affect your open rates.
Sure.
That's not to say direct mail doesn't work. In fact, a lot of people are sort of switching emphasis from email to direct marketing because everyone's doing email marketing, but you can do both.
Yeah.
But I'd encourage you to just capture that email address.
Yeah. Okay. Terrific. Next one.
Excellent. The fourth C is credibility.
Right.
And those are adding credibility factors to your website. So content helps build credibility, but there's a couple of other things that you should really think about. How can you persuade the person who's visiting your website that you're a really substantial business? Especially it's even more critical if you're an e-commerce store. So photos of your shop, photos of your people, physical addresses, telephone numbers, testimonials, case studies, all those sort of things that just add more and more credibility that you know what you're talking about. You've been in business for however many years. You've got lots of happy customers.
And again, I guess I'm imagining if I'm looking at 2 or 3 service companies, then yes, the one that can show me they've got some history and some testimonials, and and they've got maybe a bricks and mortar address, if not necessarily a picture of it, but yes, I can imagine that's going to help a lot with credibility.
Absolutely, really important. We've done some testing on sites, sites that weren't converting, and we do user testing, and the first thing that comes back is, I just didn't know who these people were. I didn't trust them.
So many sites like that, aren't there, where you can't see a person on there, a phone number, or an email, nothing.
Absolutely.
Last point.
The last C is a commitment to learning. So there's so much information out there. You really, if you want more leads from your website, you need to get committed. Okay. And it's not necessarily expensive either. You know, there's a lot, for $40 you can get a great book on Google Analytics or Google AdWords or search optimization, or any topic within online marketing. There's a lot of courses, and then obviously you can get consultants in as well. But there's a lot of great options. Google has a lot of free resources as well. Yeah. So get committed and get more leads.
Philip, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to find out more about you, and if we visit your website, I've no doubt we'll be asked to get engaged with you in a number of ways, I would hope.
Absolutely.
And that's cleverclicks.
That's right, cleverclicks.com.au.
Okay, Philip, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Robert.